let's get to it. So, oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you're having success. Hi, Hill. Hillary, how are you liking your hair? You finally got a curly cut. Okay, let's get into it. So now my hair is dripping wet. I just got out of the shower and then re-stuck my hair under the faucet. I'm gonna start with Recoil, which is a curl activator, kind of like a curl cream. Do they call it a curl cream? So I would say, like, there's options, and you don't have to put a curl cream in your hair. I typically don't use a curl cream, although maybe the alternatives to a curl cream are like a leave-in conditioner, a curl activator, which some people might consider a curl cream, or a curl cream, or like an all-in-one product, which is similar to a curl cream, but typically has a bit more hold. An all-in-one product is going to be similar to a defining curl cream. And how do you know something's a defining curl cream? It will typically tell you right on the bottle. Okay, so I'm going to, I haven't used this in a minute, so it's like not wanting to come out. We're all over the place today. Anyways, okay, so with Recoil, I put a small amount in my hand, I water it down, and then I do this because it really grows. I didn't take my rings off. I know that always upsets you guys. Sorry. Because it really, especially Recoil, really grows. When you put it on your hands, you can see that was barely any product, and look how much product it is now. You want your hair to be super saturated before you put the product in your hair. When I'm in the salon, to put it in perspective, your hair is still in the sink so that I can keep adding water while I'm working with your hair and keep it nice and saturated. When I'm at home, I keep a spray bottle right next to me so I can keep my hair nice and wet. This is Recoil by AG. It's a Vancouver-based company, if you didn't know that. So Canadian. And it is a curl activator. So it is great if you want your hair to be curlier, but if your hair is already as curly as you want it to be, then you might use like a control product, like a curl cream instead, or a leave-in conditioner. So if your hair struggles to like hold on to moisture, then what you can do is, instead of obsessively re-wetting it before you add your products, add all your, like, get your hair soaking wet, add your products, and then get it wet again before you start styling it, okay? Which is really gonna help because your hair typically will hold on to that moisture a little bit better once you have the products in. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the Recoil. I'm gonna add some water there. And I'm just raking that all the way through my hair. And I like to get upright because people often miss like the back of their hair. Right here. Oh, sorry, YouTube. I have my cameras in a weird setup today. I don't know how to get you all. This is my first time filming like widescreen on YouTube, so YouTube is in a different direction than everybody else. You always worry about wetting my hair and washing out the products I just put in. So like, it depends how wet you're getting your hair, right? Like, but typically, I would say try it, right? There's no harm in trying it once or twice. The worst thing that will happen, by the way, this is less Irish sea moss gel that I'm now going in with. So I started with a curl activator, and now I'm going in with a gel for definition and hold. If you just use a curl activator or a curl cream and you don't follow it up with gel, you're not going to get any longevity out of your style, and you probably won't get as much frizz control and definition. So for people who are worried about watering down their product or losing product when they add water, it can definitely happen if you're adding too much water to your hair. It's going to be a trial and error process. You just have to try it and trust the process once or twice. If you lose product once or twice, yes, you might lose too much product once or twice, but the only way you're going to get to that perfect routine is to give it a try. Why are curly cuts so expensive? I want to do it, but I can't afford $200 plus for a curly cut. Currently, hairstylists are not trained as part of their basic training to give a curly cut. So ultimately, if you're getting a curly cut, you're going to someone who has advanced training. So just like in any industry, if you're going to someone who has advanced specialized training in their field, you're going to pay more than someone who just has basic level training. And ultimately, that's at the end of the day why you're paying more. That's one of the reasons why you're paying more. One of the other reasons in some scenarios is because some curly cuts, depending on the head of hair, and different salons have different pricing models, but some heads of hair take a very long time to cut, wash, style. Maybe not necessarily cut, but especially wash and style. This is especially true for some very like thicker or coarser heads of hair. So the appointment might be 2.5 hours versus a traditional haircut is going to be like 45 minutes. Now, that's not so much the difference between like a regular cut and a curly cut. That's more about your hair type. But when you're going to a curly cut appointment, they know that's going to be your hair type coming in. So they need to be compensated for that time. So that can also play into it as well. The other thing that might play into it is the products they're using on your hair. Typically in a curly cut appointment, they're going to be using a lot more products than they would be using in a straight haired appointment. I would also say that. But I would say ultimately what it's coming down to is you're paying for the fact that there is a serious problem with our current training model in how we train hairstylists, in that we don't provide curly cut training in basic hairstyling training. If we started to include that in basic training, it would bring down the cost of curly cuts, because everyone coming out of hairstyling school would be able to give a basic curly cut. And that's not the reality today. So at a certain point, I know people get upset with stylists who charge more, but they've had to pay out of pocket for that additional training. And very few stylists are able to offer that level or quality of curly cut because you need to pay out of pocket for that additional training. Does that make sense? Can you go back to a regular stylist after getting a curly cut, or will it ruin the curly cut? That is a great question. So yeah, I would say, especially for maintenance, like because curly cuts are so expensive and can be difficult to get in with those salons because there can be like long waiting lists and stuff like that, you could definitely plan to go like once a year to go to a curly cut specialist for like maintenance of your shape, and in between go to a regular or more affordable hairstylist for your regular trims. Like obviously you're gonna get best results if you're always going to someone who knows exactly what they're doing when they're cutting curly hair, but it's definitely possible to go to someone who doesn't have as much advanced curly cut training in between just for trims. Ask them to keep your general shape and just say, I just want to trim, I don't want you to change my shape. And that should help. It's where you run into challenges is when someone who doesn't have training and doesn't really know how to cut curly hair is trying to change your shape. And that's when you end up with like weird holes or like major discrepancies in like how your hair is falling, things like that. If that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to start styling. So we went in and added our products. That took way too long. I'm trying to get faster at adding my products, but it's like, I like to take my time and talk to you guys at the same time. Okay. So my hair is nice and wet now. It's also much faster in the salon to add products because I can just like use my faucet. Here I'm like sitting there adding water. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through. So this is the step that a lot of people skip. Now to be very clear, you absolutely can skip this step, okay? So gel or mousse, somebody's asking. Gel is gonna give you more longevity and definition usually. There are a lot of different mousses on the market that play different roles. For example, Cake the Curl Whip mousse is more of like a defining mousse that's going to give you a bit of a cast. Plus Size Mousse by Amika is like an amplifying mousse that is going to give more volume, that's more for use around your roots. So different mousses do different things. If you're talking about like a defining and hold mousse, mousse can be good. it's a little bit lighter weight, might give you more volume than a gel, but it's not going to give you the same longevity that a gel will. I sometimes like to use mousse, but I typically still pair it with at least a small amount of gel to give me that longevity. But if I want like bigger hair, I might use a little bit less gel and pair it with a little bit of mousse, and that will give me bigger hair, a little bit more volume. Good question. Okay, so this step, you don't have to do it. You can just kind of rake through your hair, scrunch, and air dry or diffuse. And I know a lot of people do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is a valid hair routine after you've added your products. And if you love the results you're getting, you should keep doing that. That's so easy. That is great. If you're somebody who likes to do your hair every single day, maybe you are like a CrossFitter or you're a swimmer and you just like, your hair has to be done every single day, then, and you're getting decent results, you can keep doing that. If you want your hairstyle to last 4 days, 5 days, depending on your hair type, 6, 7 days, if you have really like coily or spirally hair, then you might want to add one step more, which is what I do here. I like my hairstyles to last 4 days roughly. So I do this step in between. There's different options of what you can do at this step, but basically what we're doing is we're adding definition, separation, we're reducing frizz, and we're helping to shape the curl pattern, okay? And by adding this step all over, you're going to get way more longevity out of your curl pattern before it starts getting frizzy, wonky. For some people, if your hair has a tendency to lose curl, you might hold on to the curl pattern longer. If your hair just has a tendency to lose definition and get frizzy, you might go longer before you lose that definition and get frizzy. So that's the point of this step that we're about to do, okay? Is adding curl cream important before applying gel? Not necessarily. Today I added a curl activator instead. You could add a leave-in conditioner instead. So different people like to add different products. But adding some sort of a moisturizing product will help your hair to clump. Okay, so this is, I'm doing kind of like a modified rake and shake here. You want your hair to be really, really wet. If you go to brush through your hair and then rake through and it's not clumping nicely, do you see how it's clumping into those beautiful individual curl clumps? Add more water. Your hair just isn't wet enough, very likely. I'm just raking through, and that's all I'm doing on this bottom layer here, and that's gonna give me that separation in curl clumps, and it's gonna reduce my overall amount of frizz, okay? So it is doing something. It does make a big difference in the final result on a lot of curl patterns, not universally on all curl patterns. Of course, we all have very different hair, but it's something to consider trying at least once, and you may choose you don't wanna do it every single time you wash your hair, but you might decide that you like to do this if you're getting your hair ready for a wedding, you know? I like to do this every time I style my hair, but everybody's different. I sleep with my hair in a bonnet or a silk scarf, which is something that we've learned from the black and brown hair communities as a way to protect and prolong our hairstyle. Specifically, it helps to retain moisture, reduce frizz, protect your hair from breakage. It makes a really big difference in how long my hair pattern can be preserved before I have to restyle it. So here I'm just gonna rake through, create those individual curl clumps, and I'm not even gonna worry about scrunching right now. I'm gonna scrunch at the end. How can you tell if you need to clarify? Most people need to clarify at a minimum once a month. Some people need to clarify way more often than that. So you probably need to clarify if your hair is being badly behaved. That's like a simple way to do it. If products you've always loved to use suddenly stop working, that's a good time to clarify. If your curl pattern is suddenly struggling to hold for some reason, it's not holding curl as well as it used to, that's a good time to clarify. If your hair is feeling gunky or gummy, if your hair is really dry and it feels like no matter what product you put on, it's not like absorbing the moisture. It's not really doing anything, eh? Those are all good times to clarify. Now, if you have hard water, I really recommend any of the Malibu C clarifying shampoos. Those are my favorites. One second. I'm really taking big sections here. So once I get like here, I start to brush up and away. And this is gonna help me get a little bit more lift and that first kind of bend towards the root, which is gonna help me a little bit with volume as we get up towards the top of my hair. Yeah, so Malibu Sea is my favorite clarifying shampoos. I have hard water, so I really like the hard water wellness. And then I, of course, really like the Undo Goo, which helps with product buildup. So if you aren't using all like salon quality products like Inner Sense, Diva Curl, like if you aren't being really careful with the products that you put on your hair so that none of them are building up on your hair, then Undo Goo is a good clarifying shampoo to have in your arsenal just to remove buildup periodically from the products that you might be using. Basically, if you have any products from the drugstore, like I do, I use some drugstore products, then Undo Goo is a good clarifying shampoo by Malibu Sea to have in your arsenal. Yeah, it's deodorant. Somebody's upset about the white stuff in my armpits. It is deodorant. Yeah, it's just the black stuff is just hair. No need to be alarmed. And that's a freckle. Why are you looking at my armpits so much? And then the rest of it's just deodorant. So what is clarifying? What is clarifying shampoo? Oh, thank you, Ebony. Blue eyes. Got those from my dad. Me and my brother both ended up with blue eyes and dark hair. Although my hair is not quite this dark when it's dry. What is clarifying shampoo? So there are different types of shampoo, okay? And this is actually something that a lot of people go wrong on this, especially my wavies. Because you think, oh, I have some curl pattern to my hair, I need to use a curly shampoo. Be careful, my wavies. Be careful, my girls who don't have super, super spirally hair, just reaching for any old curly shampoo, because especially some of those cream-based cleansers, no poo cleansers, clarifying shampoos do not have silicones in them. They are for removing silicones. So what I want you to know about shampoos is there are clarifying shampoo, there are chelating shampoos at like the top, then there's clarifying shampoos. I can't remember exactly what the difference is between them, but anyways, chelating shampoos are like the most cleansing, then there's clarifying shampoos, but those two are really gonna remove all buildup. Then chelating shampoos might be like sulfate-based shampoos. I can't remember, I'd have to do my homework. You've got, why are we still talking about my deodorant? There's nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm a human being. So anyways, you've got your sulfate-based shampoos. Sulfate-based shampoos, honestly, some people with wavy hair don't mind using sulfate-based shampoos. The thing with sulfates is that they're a bit harsh on your hair, so they can leave your hair a bit dry. So there can be very cleansing alternatives that are a little less harsh on your hair, okay? The thing with a lot of people with wavy hair is if you never use sulfate shampoos and you never use clarifying shampoos, what happens is you're going to end up with a lot of buildup on your hair. Now, if we get rid of those two categories of shampoo, then we're gonna go into our gentle shampoos, our low poo shampoos, and then our cream-based shampoos. So what can happen is, at the other end, we have these very, very gentle, very moisturizing shampoos, okay? And these gentle cream-based moisturizing shampoos are absolutely amazing, especially for people with very like prone to dryness hair that's very, very curly, maybe even kinky coily, or very low, like any curl pattern, but very low porosity. Someone on Instagram is like, please keep doing your hair, I have to go to work soon. So if your hair is very low porosity, you might like these cream-based shampoos. They're not going to be as cleansing, they're going to be very moisturizing, but if you only use these cream-based shampoos all the time, and you can imagine if you were only using like moisturizer to wash your face, you'd never really be removing the stuff that's polluting your pores, right? So eventually that would be really, really bad for your face. So that's where a lot of people can go wrong. And I feel like wavies are definitely affected by this because there tends to be a lot of wavies with higher porosity hair who really don't need cream-based shampoos or low poo shampoos, really need quite cleansing shampoos. And probably shouldn't be using a cream-based shampoo, but because some of those shampoos say curly shampoo on it, they're like, oh, it's a curly shampoo, I should use this one. And it's really not quite that simple. A lot of those cream-based shampoos probably aren't meant for you. They're meant for very low porosity hair, or just like a not quite your higher porosity hair or hair that needs to be cleansed on a regular basis. So that's something that's really important to understand. So the shampoo and conditioner that I probably use most frequently right now is the Lust brand shampoo and conditioner. It's a very cleansing shampoo. The conditioner is very, very moisturizing. I also love the Mela and Cara shampoo and conditioner by Balayage Exceptionnel, I think it's called, which is a little bit more protein in it. When my hair wants a little bit of protein, I'll use that one. So again, guys, I'm just going all the way to the top of my hair with rake and shake method, keeping it so simple. You know, we're 22 minutes since I've started my hair routine and we're already down to just like this like top section here. Okay. So Lust Brands is LUSBRANDS. I'm an affiliate for them. If you want a discount, it's GHWH10 for 10% off. GHWH10, the link in my bio has the discount code. And then Mela and Kira, I don't work with them. It's just my salon recently started carrying them and I got to try their products and I really like their shampoo and conditioner as well. So now I'm gonna switch to, because I always like to do this, I like to switch to brush curls just for this top section of my hair. You don't have to do this, but the top section of my hair is by far the least curly section of my hair. So I always like to switch at this point to these brush curls because for me, it helps the curl pattern to last a little bit longer. Just here, hey mom, how's it going? Where did I get my light fixture? I think from Bouclair in Canada, which is like kind of, it's kind of like HomeSense or like a discount thing. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to do this. This is gonna artificially enhance your curl pattern a little bit. It doesn't work on all hair types, but for me, it definitely, because I tend to be flat on top and have flat roots on top because the curl pattern doesn't start at the root, it helps the curl pattern to be a little bit more spirally. Okay, so I put the brush at a downward angle, I start to rotate, and then I wrap it around the handle. You only put it through the bristles one time, and that's how you make sure you don't end up cutting the brush out of your hair. The salon I work at is located in Carp, Ontario. Okay, so put your brush through at a downward angle, and then remember we're gonna wrap it around the handle. And I didn't do this for my whole head, guys. I just like to do this on this top layer that is going to be the most visible, where my hair is the least spirally. And you could just do rake and shake all the way up to the top here. Like I said, you absolutely don't have to do this. And if you notice that your hair is getting dry by now, just do a little bit of this. If you find this helpful, don't forget to hit that follow button. I do go live every single Tuesday with a full hair routine. Hi, Shanna. Shanna's coming in to see me this week. Okay, so I put my brush at a downward angle and then we start rotating and we wrap it around the handle. Just like that, okay? And again, I really don't recommend you do this on your whole head. It's gonna be way too time consuming. But if you have those areas on your head that are really stubborn, the curl just doesn't like to hold, you can try this. This isn't going to work on everybody's head of hair, especially like some fine hair. I find this isn't that effective. Or just like really loose curl pattern, it just might not hold. But there's a sweet spot. There's some curl patterns that it does just hold really well for, and it can enhance the curl pattern or add definition really nicely. So, you know, experiment with it, see if it works for you. The products that we use today are Recoil by AG, which is a curl activating product, which can help enhance your curl a little bit. We added some of that, and then we went in with Lust Brands Irish Sea Moss gel. which is, oh my God, I love that gel so much. I don't know what it is. It is such a forgiving gel. I feel like no matter what amount of that gel I add, my hair always turns out okay. Like I can never add like too much or too little. It still turns out. Yeah, recoil really is the best. I've used it on so many different curl patterns now, and it just always turns out good. It's a bit of a heavier product, so if you had like hair that's weighed down by everything, I maybe wouldn't use it. I would maybe try like the Living Proof Curl Activator instead. If you're looking to activate your curl pattern, obviously. You're right. It will definitely hold better if you diffuse it. We are going to diffuse it today. Got my diffuser right next to us. That's actually a really good point. I know a lot of people air dry versus diffuse, and we are going to talk more about that when I start diffusing. One of the biggest questions that I get is, do I have to diffuse? You absolutely do. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why my cat wants to go outside. I'm sorry. Poor baby. I'm just going to let him out. Want to go outside? Okay. What did I do with my brush? So you can absolutely air dry your hair, and some people, especially if you don't struggle with volume, if your hair just naturally has a lot of volume, then air drying can be a great option. But if you want more volume to your hair, the single easiest way to fix that is going to be to diffuse your hair. Now, if you want more volume and you don't have time to diffuse, here's what I would say. If you can air dry 90% and diffuse for the last 10%, even that will make a massive difference. If you can invest in root clips, which I have, but I keep forgetting to put them in my little box here that I use when I go live, so they're in my bathroom. Root clips can help with volume while you're air drying, so that's an option. I've been on CGM forever, and my hair has changed since my hair is longer. What to do if it gets tangled way too easily while trying to twirl it on the handle? I don't really know if I know what you mean. So I'll give you an instructional. Okay, so 1 second. Let me just figure out where I want my part to be. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna do a brush curl. So I put my brush at a downward angle. Okay, we run it through the bristles 1 time. Start rotating it. Then we want to run it around the handle 1 time. And then you just start rotating it, okay? Just start rotating it all the way up to the root. And once it's at the root, you can just pull it out like that. If it doesn't pull out nicely, you can just unwind it, okay? You don't have to pull it through because not everybody's hair will just pull it through nicely, especially if it's long. So brush it through, put it through the bristles 1 time. And again, guys, if you try this technique and it really, really doesn't go over well, try a different technique. There are so many great techniques. You can try finger coiling. You can try brush. I always forget what I used to call this, brush coiling. Just this technique like this, which gives you, like on my hair, it gives me kind of like a ropier brush curl. There's a lot, or you can just do rake and shake. So there's lots of different techniques that you can try. But I find the brush curl gives me a slightly bigger, more open ringlet, which is more similar to the spirals that my hair naturally does on the bottom, which is why I do brush curls. But if you're really struggling and your hair just doesn't like brush curls, I wouldn't force it. Not everybody's hair. Okay, so put it through the bristles. You want to start rotating. Again, it needs to be caught in the bristles so that you have some grip. And then you wrap it up to the handle and then you pull it through. And I have lots of tutorials on my playlist on TikTok called Denman, or on, there's a Denman Stories highlight as well. You need a strong hold styling product, medium to high density, loose curls, waves. What type of hold would you consider the Irish sea moss for hold. Is it scented? Yes, it is scented. And what kind of hold would I consider it? I think like a medium hold. Medium, maybe on the firmer side of medium, but it's definitely not a strong hold. Does this define the curl more than like finger curling? So it's going to remove frizz at the same time because you're brushing it through the bristles. That's one thing that I find, but it's going to give you very similar results to finger curling. So if you find finger curling easier, then do finger curling. I just don't know how to finger curl. I find this easier than finger curling. This does not want to curl. This piece never wants to curl. Is the best brush, is that the best brush for this technique? Yeah, I really like the Denman brush. I have wavy hair at the front, but very curly at the back of my head. What does that mean? I mean, it could just be uneven curl pattern. It could be that you have damage somewhere. Girl, you need more wet hair. My hair's pretty wet. It could benefit from being more wet. I don't disagree with you. It's just like we'd be here all day if I kept trying to re-wet it with a spray bottle. So I don't disagree with you. It's more just like from practicality standpoint. But you're right. If I'm in salon, I'm going to be keeping people's hair really, really wet while I'm working with it. What's the sectioning when I do this? I start from the bottom and I work my way up. Okay, so I've gone all over. You can see I didn't scrunch up until now. I don't have a t-shirt or anything, so I'm just going to use paper towel. Paper towel is a totally valid option for micro plopping your hair. You can use a t-shirt, which would be more sustainable. You could use a microfiber towel, but not if you have super fine hair. Those would be your main options. You don't want to use terry cloth. Terry cloth has a lot of texture to it, and all those loops are going to create more frizz. So we are going to scrunch for the first time. Ooh. Yeah, so a regular terry cloth towel would create more frizz. Now, depending on how much shrinkage you're gonna try and create here, you would hold it and scrunch a little bit more. Thank you for everybody who's saying I have a nice house. I appreciate all of you. Okay. These are my new pillows. These are off of Amazon. I was quite pleased with those. For an Amazon pillow cover, I thought they were very cute. I just want to blow dry your hair straight for you. Would you let your partner blow dry your hair? I just wore my hair straight. Did I not film it? Yeah, I thought I posted some stuff with straight hair. I had my hair straight in the salon the other day. I had my hair straight last week. There we go. So again, this is called micro plopping, guys. So micro plopping is when you take some sort of device like paper towel or t-shirt or whatever, and you're just very, very gently squeezing out the excess water. Okay, the point is you want to cut down on your blow dry time. If you have super high porosity hair and your hair blow dries in like 15 minutes, at this point it might already be pretty dry, so you might not need to do this too much. But for my hair, it takes like 40 minutes to blow dry, so this is a very important step to reduce my dry time. If you're trying to save, is any sulfate-free shampoo okay for curly hair? No, we were just talking about this. You want to know whether or not you want a cream-based shampoo or not. So not, like, I would be very careful with cream-based shampoos unless you have very low porosity hair. And because cream-based shampoos are not very cleansing. And if you are using a cream-based shampoo, make sure you're clarifying your hair periodically with the clarifying shampoo. This is so hard to do on really short hair. I mean, I've done it on really short hair. You just do more like that. You're just pressing up a little bit more as opposed to scrunching. Just press up. There we go. Okay, so we've probably taken out the bulk of the product, but do you see, guys, how we're not, first of all, we're not like crazy scrunching all over the place, which is going to create frizz. And also we're not rubbing. We're not rubbing all over the place, which is also going to create a lot of frizz. So do you see where we're at now, how there's minimal amount of frizz? This and how we have these nice individual clumps. This is where you want to be when you're going into the drying process, whether you're air drying, diffusing, whatever you're going to do. The alternative is just like a clear shampoo. Like, yeah, I don't have any shampoos here, but like a shampoo that looks more like a gel product as opposed to like a white shampoo. Apple cider vinegar works wonders to clarify. I would get a clarifying shampoo though. It can clarify a little bit, but I actually would invest in a clarifying shampoo. Okay, so let's actually start blow drying my hair for all of y'all who need to get back to work. So let's talk about good diffusing technique. Can you air dry your hair? Absolutely, you can do whatever you want. There are no rules. However, if you want more volume, I would highly recommend looking into diffusing. So, if you don't already have a diffuser and you're on a tight budget, I would go to a charity shop, Value Village, something like that. You can often buy a blow dryer with a diffuser if you go back enough times. My first diffuser and blow dryer was $2 at a church garage sale. So, you know. So, oh my God, see my following, you are in the wrong live. If you want less volume, you're going to want to hover diffuse. So if you're finding this helpful, guys, don't forget to hit that follow button. I go live every single Tuesday. Okay, so now lately, one of the things I have been doing is I start by hover diffusing and kind of focusing on my bangs because my bangs tend to get really messed up when I diffuse. And so this is something that I've been learning. Yeah, on your way to the thrift store right now. This is something that I've been really learning in the salon because in the salon, we root clip them and we put them under the hover diffuser for like 15 minutes. Like, sorry, what's it called? The hood dryer. And then we pixie diffuse them. So I was like, and their bangs always turn out perfect. And I was like, okay, how can I replicate that at home? Because my bangs always get messed up. So what I've been doing lately at home is I start by hover diffusing my face first, kind of as if I was under a hood dryer, to try and replicate those like face results, those bang results that I'm getting on clients in the salon. Because this is the shape that I want my bangs to be, but if I immediately flip my hair upside down, it gets all messed up. I'm gonna do some posts about root clips soon. I'll probably do some in the salon. I don't really like to root clip my own hair. It's just not part of my own routine. But when I'm using a hood dryer in the salon, I do like to root clip. So I'll probably do some posts in the salon using root clips. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a hairstyling apprentice in a curly hair salon. So that's why I'm talking about in the salon. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with a hover diffusing kind of around my face, and then I'm going to pixie diffuse my bangs, just sort of like pushing up against my bangs and slowly rotating away to encourage the curl pattern just in my bangs. So this is what I start with, and I could right now have my roots clipped. That would help with volume. That would be a good idea actually. So maybe I will start clipping at home if I'm gonna start doing this like bang thing. So now I would do okay. So see here? And then I like to like rotate in the same direction as the curl as I push it up. Oops. And turn it on. When you use the diffuser, you always end up with little frizzy hair. How do I prevent it? So there's a couple of things you want that can be causing that. It's not just like one fix. One is, are you using gel? Two is, did you have wet frizz before you started diffusing? Because it's only going to get worse once you start diffusing if you already had wet frizz. Okay? And then three is, when you start diffusing, you need to use good diffusing technique. So do you see how rarely I'm moving the diffuser here? Now this is kind of a weird technique I'm doing because I'm starting with my bangs. But once I start doing the rest of my face, you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're starting with my bangs here. Just to get them, and they don't need to be 100% dry. I just want the cast to start to form on these bangs so that they don't get wonky when I start like flipping my hair all around. Only your roots turn out fluffy, soft, and not defined. That's probably because you're not putting product all the way up to your roots. I would put your apply product closer to your roots. That would be my guess. I do not dry my hair in small sections. I am just setting my bangs because when I start drying my hair, my bangs often go wonky. I don't usually use mousse. I sometimes do. Ah! Well, you can imagine this is when I'm doing it one at a time. So anyways, I'm really picky with my bangs and I really hate when I have to go in and fix them afterwards. So that's why I'm like trying to get my bangs to set the way I want them before I go in and do the rest of my hair. Now, one thing I could do, one sec, I'm gonna go get a clip. Okay, so I got a clip and I think what I'm gonna do is, because it's just this one that I'm not happy with, I'm gonna pin curl it. So I'm just gonna manipulate this curl. So she's gonna be a fake. Yeah, how often do I do this? About once or twice a week. Okay, okay, so we're gonna get started. So I've been going for about 45 minutes so far. We're probably about 20 minutes from the end of my routine at this point. But guys, you have to remember, I'm a curly hair specialist and a content creator. This is my job. I absolutely love doing my hair. There are much faster routines out there. Okay, so I'm gonna lift my hair up off of my scalp now, just very gently. Okay, and now we are going to start hover diffusing first. So I like to start with hover diffusing. The point here being, I want my cast to start to set. So what is a cast? A cast is that slight crunchiness that you get on your hair from using like mousse or gel, anything that has hold. Hairspray can leave a cast. So any products that have a little bit of hold to them can create a cast as it starts to dry. When your hair is 100% dry, if you want, you can scrunch your hair until that cast goes away, and then all the softness and volume will come back. So you don't need to be afraid of the cast. But I like, on my hair, I like to hover diffuse until that cast starts to set. So let's talk about what is the purpose of the cast. The cast protects your hair from frizz while your hair is drying. So that's the idea behind a cast, and why we might want a cast is it kind of holds this shell around your hair while your hair dries so it doesn't get frizzy, okay? So I like to hover like this, so it's minimal airflow with some heat until that cast is set so we have no frizz. Okay? And then once I'm happy and my hair, that also allows my natural curl pattern to start to come through a little bit without getting too wonky or like, I mean, we've already heavily manipulated it as you saw, but like it starts to do what it wants to do without getting like wonky as I describe it. And then once it gets to like 50 to 60%, once I can feel that the cast is starting to set, I like to go in and pixie diffuse. Now some people like to pixie diffuse sooner. If your curl pattern needs a lot of encouragement, you might go in and start pixie diffusing almost right away. So everybody's hair is a little bit different. Hover diffusing, so what I'm doing right now is going to give you less volume, but also less frizz, and it's going to be the least disturbance to your curl pattern. So hover diffusing is holding the diffuser about 10 centimeters away from your hair. So somebody said, does the technique of putting your hair in the sieve and using a normal hair dryer work? So yes, using a hair straightener, or like a food pasta strainer, it does work. However, remember that it's metal. I've used it, I've tried it. It's metal, and the metal gets very, very hot. So you could burn your hair. So that's the only thing, but it does work. So the other technique that you very likely will want to incorporate or use is called pixie diffusing. And by the way, I did not invent either of these techniques. These are like widely used techniques in the wavy and curly hair communities. The other technique is called pixie diffusing. And pixie diffusing is when you take the hair and you lower it into the mouth of the diffuser and you hold the position. You hold the position for like 20 seconds. I forgot to drink my coffee. Y'all be patient. I need my espresso. Okay. The key is what you don't want to do is take your diffuser and just immediately start going like that and touching your hair. Don't touch your hair. The hand that is not diffusing. Fill out a Sudoku. Put it behind your back. Hold your face. Don't hold your face. You'll get pimples. Put it behind your back. Do something else with it. How can you tell the cast is set? Thank you for being patient. So you'll feel your hair start to get a little bit stiff and more dry. There's no magic. Like, it's fully set when your hair is 100% dry. But like for me, I switched to pixie diffusing when it just starts to feel like 50% dry and more stiff. Okay. If you have accessibility or mobility issues, or you just don't like to blow dry upside down like this, you can just use root clips. You absolutely don't have to do this. I just like to. Another technique you can also do that doesn't involve root clips, of course, is just bubble diffusing like that. Does curly hair shed more than straight? It should, like, no. Oh, some people do think that because you typically don't brush curly hair unless it's your shampoo day. So when it is your shampoo day, it looks like you are losing a lot of hair. Versus people with straight hair are running their fingers through their hair every single day, so they're losing hair as they go. Versus if you have wavy or curly hair, it's possible you don't run your fingers through your hair unless it's like one day a week. So you're still shedding all that hair throughout the week, but it's caught in your hair. Does that make sense? Okay. So now I'm going to switch to pixie diffusing. Oh, I'm very excited. I just had Shark reach out to me, and I think they're sending me their like dupe of the Air Wrap by Dyson. I think. I'm excited. So I keep my hair dryer on high. And I don't use heat protectant. I know this is controversial. I have had very bad heat damage on my hair, so I'm very well versed with what heat damage looks like. As my hair gets more dry, I turn the heat down. So once my hair is like 80% dry, I turn it down to medium, and this is a very hot blow dryer too. Why do I switch it off in between? Just to reduce frizz. This blow dryer, even with this diffuser, has quite a strong airflow. Ideally, you would want a blow dryer with a bit less airflow, but you know, this is a $200 diffuser, not a $1,000 diffuser, so it is what it is. So there's a lot of airflow. So if I move positions, it's gonna be blowing the hair all over the place. So I turn it off as I change the position. Okay? So you can see I'm holding those positions. So yeah, we were talking about heat. So I heard a curly hair specialist from Manchester called Curly Gal Chloe. Her name's not Gal, her name's Chloe. You can follow her on TikTok, I think, and on Instagram. She's great, actually. You should follow her. Very, very informative, and she's all about really simplifying curly hair routines, which is probably not my mantra because I love hair. But I'm learning to make it more simple. But anyways, Curly Gal Chloe, one of the things she said is putting your hair on a diffuser, even on a high heat, is like putting clothing in a tumble dryer on a high heat. Can you burn the clothes? You could, but it's unlikely. And then using like a curling iron or a straightener on a high heat on clothes or on your hair is like using a clothing iron on clothes on a high heat. Can you burn it? You can. It's more likely than with a diffuser. Does that make sense? So use your good judgment, right? Use your good judgment. If your hair is already heat damaged, your blow dryer is very hot, and you know your hair is fragile, maybe you don't want to use high heat, maybe you want to use heat protectant, things like that. My hair is very healthy and robust. I am careful that I don't, like if I never smell burning or anything like that. As your hair gets more dry, it is more susceptible to heat damage, so turn your heat down maybe to a medium. That's my advice. You can absolutely use heat protectant. I would recommend using a silicone-free heat protectant. That is my advice for you. I do really like the Diva Curl Ultralight Defining Gel. Great product. It was one of the first gels that I used to use. I use it in the salon a lot on people, and I recommend it to a lot of people who want like a stronger hold gel. You're welcome. We're getting there. I'd say we're like 80%. Oh, I can see my little Mr. Man out in the snow. My little cat. Oh, I wish I could turn, but it's like a whole thing. I've got like 3 phones set up here on a whole tripod. But he's so cute. My little cat is just out in the snow in the woods. I live like deep in the woods, so when I see like one of my domesticated cats like out in like the Great Canadian Wilderness, I always think it's so cute. I'm not in Toronto. I live in Ottawa, like outside of Ottawa. I live pretty rural actually. I live like out in the country on like 30 acres. Even my salon is actually pretty rural. It's like 15 minutes outside of Ottawa. Okay, so there I could smell like, not burning, but I could smell that my hair was getting more hot. So that's usually an indicator to me that I want to turn my heat down to a medium because my hair is getting more dry. But really, do you notice how I'm really not keeping my, I'm keeping my blow dryer in one spot for long periods of time. I'm not like going like that, and I'm not touching my hair with my other hand. So that is such a common question I get. How do I tell if my hair is curly? And to that I say, you try like, well, I think you would know if, based on the definition I use of curly hair, you would know if your hair was curly. But I think what you mean is how would I know if I could wear my hair like this? How do I know if I can wear my hair with wave to it or with curl pattern to it? And the answer is you start styling it with a wavy hair routine or curly hair routine, wavy hair products, curly hair products, and you see if you like the results. Now, the truth is you might not like the results the first time. It is a skill to learn how to style your hair like this. It's not super easy the first time you do it. There are some easier routines, but it can be tricky to know where you're going wrong sometimes. I have a great intro to wavy hair routine that you can check out. There's going to be lots more content coming out of me doing wavy hair transformations and curly hair transformations and coily hair transformations because I'm now working in a salon. So those I think are going to be really helpful for people to see me doing it on all different types of hair types. So yeah, like it takes a little bit of patience for sure to get through the first couple of wash days, but then you'll get an idea of whether or not you're going to be happy with the results. You've seen girls diffuse their roots first and then their hair versus casting. Yeah, it can be a good idea to diffuse your roots first if you're trying to get more volume. Watching from Italy, from India, from Germany. That's awesome, guys. Okay, so I just took out that root clip to see if that pin curl helped at all. Yeah. So see, I had that, I don't know if you were here earlier, guys, but I had one bang that was just being really weird. So I just pin curled it with a root clip. And so now it's a little too tight, but it'll loosen because it's an artificial curl. So now I'm just gonna continue diffusing the rest of my hair. This will probably loosen a little bit on its own. So you can diffuse your roots, root clip, or bubble diffuse, totally. Or you can do none of the above. And you should experiment to see what works best from you. You guys, let me know where you're from. I always find that so interesting, especially because we have 300 of you in the room on TikTok. Okay. So now you can see my hair is getting pretty close to being fully dry. Thank you for the roses. Texas, Indiana, UK, Iowa, Waco, Arizona, Florida, Sweden. Cool. Okay. Ireland, Wisconsin, lots of Europe and the US. I guess we're speaking English, so that makes sense. Okay. Maine, that's not far from me. South Africa, Croatia, oh wow. Ohio, LA. So now I can be a little bit less precious with my hair. I'm a little bit less worried about BC. Man, I love BC. I'm a little bit less worried about my hair getting frizzy at this point because it's almost dry. So best shampoo for curly hair is Diva Curl No Poo. Okay, so Shelby, I'm gonna add to that. I love that you added that to the conversation. I love when you guys add your favorite products. And Shelby was saying the best part about it is you don't need conditioner. So that is a great product, but we were talking about conditioners or shampoos earlier. So the challenge with Diva Curl No Poo Shampoo. It is a great product, great for a lot of people. If it's the only shampoo you use though, guys, you're gonna run into some issues because that would be like washing your face with moisturizer every day. Seriously, it is a great shampoo. It is a little bit cleansing, but it's not meant to be a super cleansing shampoo. And that's the thing we always want to keep in mind is not all shampoos are made equal. I recommend all of you use a clarifying shampoo periodically, okay? And actually that is one of the reasons that the Diva Curl No Poo shampoo got into trouble in the first place is because a lot of people were using it as their only shampoo. And so that could, for any no poo shampoo, if it was the only shampoo you were using for extended periods of time, you would get issues with hair growth because you're not cleansing your scalp. And so over time, you're gonna have blockages. So you don't want to exclusively use low poo or no poo shampoos as your only shampoos for extended periods of time. You wanna be clarifying periodically to get rid of any buildup. Make sure your pores can breathe. Make sure your scalp can breathe and keep that scalp nice and healthy. But yes, Diva Curl has great shampoos. The no poo shampoo is a great shampoo. If you like it, you should keep using it. I would just also make sure you're using a clarifying shampoo if you're not already on a regular basis. Thank you for sharing that, though. If anybody else has a favorite shampoo that they love, feel free to drop it in the comments. Should you double cleanse? If you clarify, then you shampoo the regular shampoo. No, like you don't clarify every wash day. So I would do the different days, but I typically double cleanse because it can just be hard to get a lather the first time on my hair. So if your hair is not getting a half decent lather the first time you shampoo, and it's a shampoo that lathers, then I would double cleanse. Typically shampoos lather when they're properly cleaning all of the dirt off of your hair, if that makes sense. And if you're not getting that lather, it's typically because you haven't fully cleansed yet. You might need to go in one more time. That's not true of all shampoos, because there are shampoos out there that don't lather, but yeah, clarifying shampoo is very, very important stuff. So my favorite clarifying shampoo is the Malibu Sea Undo Goo, if it's just for product buildup, and I like the Malibu Sea Hard Water Wellness if you have hard water. Is Bedhead a bad shampoo? I've never used Bedhead, but it's a drugstore shampoo, so definitely I'd be clarifying at the same time, but I don't really know anything about Bedhead. Clarifying shampoo, yes, it can affect dyed hair. Talk to your stylist about that. I haven't learned a whole lot about dye yet. There might be dye-safe clarifying shampoos. But again, I'm not telling you to clarify every wash day, guys. You don't clarify every wash day. You clarify periodically, and if you talk to your hairstylist, they can help you figure out how often you should be clarifying. Now, I think I'm gonna use some hairspray in my hair today. Yay, it's dry. Okay. Big reveal. Who's been here since the beginning? You guys have been so patient. Not bad, an hour. My vlogs are definitely getting shorter, which is probably nice for those of you who are just trying to watch this at the same time that you're at work, which I'm sure is a lot of you. How often do I clarify? Probably twice a month. But, oh my God, see how much better my bangs are turning out though? Now, of course, I pin curled that bang. But anyways, it's just giving me much more predictable. Actually, no, I pin curled this one. That one was natural. Okay, so I'm very happy with that. Let's look. Oh, I'm so happy with those results. So what I'm gonna do now, because I like a little extra hold, I'm gonna be using some of the Bounce Curl hairspray. I'm not thrilled with their nozzle, honestly, but it is an alcohol-free hairspray. Does anybody know if they have a new nozzle? I heard they got a new nozzle, and I don't know if this is the old nozzle or the new one. Okay, so I will briefly talk about the wavy versus curly thing. So actually no, I'll hairspray my hair first, and then I'll talk about the wavy versus curly. The great debate about whether my hair is wavy versus curly. Spoiler, depends who you ask. So this product leaves a cast on your hair. It definitely has like a product-y feel to it, which not everyone likes. I kind of like that with my hairspray because it makes me feel like I have hold. And because it's alcohol free, it doesn't immediately dry. So I add lots of it, and then I hairspray, and then I diffuse. And I like to do it right after I finish diffusing because it helps me preserve some of the volume that I have right when I first finish diffusing. Yeah, it's tough if you're a professional badminton player for sure. Some tools that might be helpful for you are things like a banana clip. Like, can you use a banana clip in your hair while you're playing sports? Because that would be a way that you could secure your hair back that is going to have like minimal disruption to your curl pattern. Also, puff cuff. You can get a micro or a mini puff cuff, which is it's kind of like a circular banana clip. Those are ways that you can clip your hair back that aren't going to be quite as disturbing to your curl pattern. This is someone on Instagram saying they're a professional badminton player. How can they preserve their curls? The other thing to note is I highly recommend sleeping with your hair in a silk scarf or on a silk pillowcase, something like that. I sleep with my hair in a silk bonnet, which is something that we've learned from black and brown hair communities about how to protect our hair. Okay, so the cast is already broken on my hair just from the diffuser, so I don't even really have much to break. But let's now talk about why I call my hair curly. Or why I call my hair wavy, sorry. So I type my hair, so I talk about what my hair type is, which is wavy, curly, kinky, coily, based on what my hair is, air dried with no product, unstyled, not what it looks like now. I have spent the last 3.5, 4 years learning how to maximize what the curl pattern looks like on my hair when I style it. So I artificially enhance my curl pattern a lot when I style it. So that means what you see today is not what my hair type is. That's the first thing that I want to say. So if you're thinking about what is my hair type, you don't want to look at the one most spirally part of your head and say, see, I have curls. You want to actually look at what your hair looks like, air dried, unstyled, and then look generally at like the least curly or spirally parts of your hair. And that's probably a more accurate depiction of what your hair type is, in my opinion. Now, that being said, the definition that I use is just one definition of wavy versus curly. I'm not saying that mine is right. There is more than one definition out there. It is just the definition that I have found, which I'm about to tell you what the definition is. It is just the definition that I have found the most helpful to connect me with the right techniques and products for my hair. But there are more than one definitions, and I encourage you to just learn about the different definitions out there and why they exist. And to use the definitions that you find the most useful to connect you with the products and tools that are right for your hair, okay? That is your job in this space, to understand why the different definitions exist and to use the ones that connect you best to the tools that are best for you, right? So the definition that I have found the most helpful for the community and for myself is that wavy hair is hair that doesn't curl is either hair that either spirals or S-waves, but if it spirals, it doesn't curl from the root, okay? And it has a tendency for the curl to loosen and fall out. So that's the definition I use for wavy hair. So that confuses a lot of people because when they think wavy hair, they think spirals, curls, S-waves, wavy. And that is a different definition of wavy versus curly. Like I said, I'm not saying that's the wrong definition. It's just different than the definition that I use. And I don't find it to be as helpful a definition as the definition that I've been using for myself. But y'all are welcome to use whatever definitions you find the most helpful. But when you come to my space and you're asking me why I call my hair wavy, it's because I have found the most helpful definition for the community and for myself to be, when we're talking about wavy hair, we're talking about hair that the curl pattern doesn't all start right at the root, and it has a tendency to like loosen. Even if it has some natural spirals to it, it has a tendency we tend to be gravitating towards stronghold products. We tend to be gravitating towards techniques that enhance the curl pattern, versus when we're talking about curly, we tend to be trying to control volume, or maybe we still are trying to enhance volume, but we're not so much with curly hair trying to focus on making it curlier. With curly hair, it's already got those spirals. It's holding those spirals already. So they're focusing more on definition, frizz control. It's like a different category of products and techniques that they're working on over there. So that's what I have found to be really helpful. But, you know, within Wavy, I understand that that's a massive category. Just like curly is a massive category and kinky coily is a massive category as well. And I know within wavy hair that there are some people with very loose wavy hair and some more spirally wavy hair like myself. Yeah. So anyways, that's it for today. I'm pretty happy with those results. I'm gonna be in the salon tomorrow and Thursday. Tips for helping damage from my water having a lot of chlorine. Swimmer Wellness Malibu Sea. They've got a clarifying shampoo specifically for swimmers. And it's targeted for chlorine, so maybe even if you're not a swimmer, that might be a good shampoo for you to use. I did find my models, yes, but there will be more callouts for sure. So, one second. Finding a balance between moisturizing and hydrating has me so frustrated lately. I don't even really know what you mean by that. Like, I know hydrating is more water and moisturizing tends to be like using products to like get your hair moisturized, but I don't really know what you mean by like a balance between the two. Make sure you clarify your hair. It could be that your hair has buildup on it, so it's not able to like absorb the water or the moisture. Maybe that's what you mean. Any tips about frizzy hair after shampooing? Make sure after you add your products, try brushing it through to smooth any wet frizz before you go in with whatever your drying routine is. That can be really helpful. Metal Barbie, that's hilarious. It's just like a little strip. Shampooing, how often is too often? Every day is too often. I will say that much. Beyond that, I would say most of us want to aim for twice a week, but there is going to be some variability there. I would say if your roots are super greasy and oily and your scalp is super itchy, shampoo your hair. However, we want to move towards 2, maybe 3 times a week, but like I'd say 2 times a week. Sorry, YouTube, you asked a question. How do you not get flat curls when you sleep? I put it up in a scarf and then a bonnet and my hair will still look somewhat limp. Ooh. Still looks somewhat limp-ish when I wake up. I also have more of a wavy type. Any tips? Some people with wavy hair find it helpful to put it in a like willow first, so up in a silk scrunchie inside their bonnet, or to like lower it into their bonnet so it's all piled up on top of their head. Those are things you can try. Some people prefer to just like leave their hair out and sleep on a silk pillowcase. So you can try different things, see what works best for you. Is there a name for 2 different curl patterns on the same head? We all have it. I don't even think it has a name. It's just, that's the reality of having non-straight hair. I have very different curl patterns on my hair. Let me show you guys. So, I mean, like we've artificially enhanced these curl patterns quite a bit by doing brush curls, but like, let's see if I can find one that's like more real. Good. There. Okay, so you can see this is like, you know, what that's doing. Very, very loose. Okay, we brush curled it, which is why it has like a little bit of more of a bend at the end, but this is really what the curl pattern is here. Almost straight, right? And then if you look underneath, let me see if we can find a really spirally one. There we go. underneath, you can see like those babies are like tight spirals. Well, tight for my hair. Obviously not tight objectively in terms of the curl chart, but tight for my hair. So massive difference from that curl pattern to the curl pattern up there. Massive difference. It is totally normal to have big variation in your curl pattern. Tips to stop your hair from getting greasy after one day you already double shampoo. You could be over shampooing your hair. I would say maybe start by just water washing your hair. You don't have to use shampoo every time you wash your hair. So every second day, so shampoo your hair. Then first of all, clarify your hair. Go get a clarifying shampoo. Clarify your hair, because it could be you've got buildup and that's why it looks like it's getting greasy so quickly. Then every second time you go to shampoo your hair, massage your scalp, act like you're shampooing your hair, but only use water. And that should loosen up all the oil and help like it move down your scalp, so you're not removing all those natural oils that are actually good for your hair. Your sebum, it's like moisturizing for your hair, it's good for your hair. Let it work down those strands, but don't remove it. But it should stop it from being built up at the roots so much, so your hair won't look so oily. So then on the second day, you can go back to shampooing. So that's called water washing. So try that out for a little while. When did you start your wavy hair journey? When I was 28 and I'm 32 now. So 4 years ago, roughly. Beginning of COVID, like so many people. Do you know if rosemary oil actually works? I think it does. I haven't tried it, but you really need to use it with caution. For sure. I'm using Curlsmith Co-Wash and Shea Moisture Conditioner. My hair is still dry. Any idea why? Chances are because you're not properly cleansing your hair. Get a clarifying shampoo. Those are two products that are not very cleansing. If you never remove buildup from your hair, if you never properly wash your hair, then you're gonna have buildup, and those moisturizing ingredients and the hydrating properties of water can never actually get to your strands. It's like if you were wearing a raincoat and then getting rained on and being like, why am I not getting wet? Well, you got a raincoat on. That buildup is like a raincoat to your hair strands, okay? So the moisture is never even getting to your hair strands if you've got buildup. And that can be the issue with exclusively using no-poo shampoos or co-washes and never ever clarifying. Camille Rose, I do like their products. I don't know if they're like specifically good for wavy hair. A lot of their products are very moisturizing. I really like their deep conditioner. They've got a really nice foam as well. Tips for dry, flaky scalp. Your hair won't grow anymore. Speak to a doctor. That is beyond the help of a TikTok content creator or even really a hairstylist. If you are dealing with hair loss, you should be speaking to a medical professional. Always, always, always. What products? InnerSense is an amazing brand. The products I used on my hair today is Recoil by AG. Here, let me show you, and you guys can take screenshots if you are late to the party today. And of course, as usual, my recordings are going to be on YouTube and Instagram, so you can watch the replays on both those platforms. It gets saved as like a reel on Instagram, and it'll say live, so you can just find it there. And I think I also have a stories highlight where I save all my lives. And on YouTube, I think it's under my lives. So those are the two products I used, the Irish Sea Moss Gel by Lost Brands and the Recoil under it by AG, which is a Canadian. These are both Canadian brands, actually. And then I added a little bit of Bounce Curl hairspray underneath, but man, I really fight with this nozzle. But it is an alcohol-free hairspray. Sorry, I'll let you take screenshots. I should probably take a screenshot myself so that this can be the thumbnail. Can someone take a screenshot and then DM it to me on Instagram? Could someone on YouTube take a screenshot so that it's a widescreen and then DM it to me on Instagram? I'm kidding. There you go. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do you have your screenshot? Sorry, it's because I have so many different camera angles here. It's hard to get you all a screenshot. So those are all the products. Okay, so I think that's everything for today. We're getting faster. We're getting faster. I appreciate so much when you guys help each other in the comments. I'm really happy. One of the things I do like about that hairspray is it adds so much shine. You see how shiny my hair looks? I really like that. Not everybody likes that maybe, but I like it. Yeah, okay. Thanks so much for joining. I do go, oh my God, I didn't even realize YouTube could see the corner of like my rug. Oh well. I'm gonna see you guys next Tuesday at 11 a.m. And then after that, I'm gonna be at CurlyCon. If any of you are in the Toronto area, and I'm gonna be the 15th and the 16th at CurlyCon, which is at the Symes Convention Center, which is just like, I don't know, I think it's gonna be a cool event. I've never been to it before, but I think it's gonna be awesome. It seems like a lot of local content creators and not local content creators are coming from like all over the US and Canada. And it's going to be a lot of curly hair specialists, lots of presentations, panels, guest speakers, a lot of brands are going to be there. So it'll be a really like great chance. Like I'm just excited to see some of the presentations and just kind of like level up my education. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't need models anymore for this round, but I am going to be doing models regularly because, and just so anyone's wondering, as far as models go, when I do model callouts, it's not because we're doing like a photo shoot necessarily, although I might ask you for your permission to film you, and you are allowed to say no, of course. But when I do model callouts, it's part of my education. Before I can charge people as a hairstylist, I need to have people come in and get the service for free so that I can practice giving the service. And then once I've given the service in salon for free and kind of done that successfully, then I can start giving it as a paid service. So that's why you're getting to benefit from the service at no cost. It's not because I need you to do a photo shoot for me or anything like that. So when you see model callouts, that's really what it is. You're just coming in to be the first person to experience getting that service from me. So yeah, if you are interested in benefiting from that, there's going to be more model callouts over the next couple of weeks and months as I continue to learn new techniques and services in the salon. And you guys are welcome to volunteer for those opportunities, especially if you're, well, specifically if you're in the Ottawa area. My salon is located in Carp, Ontario, which is about 15 minutes west of Ottawa, kind of near like the Canada area. Poor TikTok. I don't even want to shut this down because you guys are having such a great conversation in the comments. But anyways, I am going to shut things down on YouTube. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.